Hi guys. Well, I'm feeling quite emotional. I think tonight it's a bit later, or it is getting late here, and I went today to go to the cinema with my nephew and my little sister and my mum, and we saw Peter Rabbit, which was a pretty cool movie, and as I'm sat there, I'm watching the movie and stuff, and sort of slightly bewildered by why like so many people are laughing in a way. This is just crazy and slightly bonkers. But it's moments like this that make me reflect really on a journey that I've been on, and personally, there's some changes that have been going on. The achievement is still taking place, and I will be leaving one of the hospitals that I've been with for 17 years since I had my heart transplant, and I'm making that decision because it's quite far away to go to the appointment, and the impact of travelling, and for me it's making quite a grown up and decision for myself, and being single and living independently. This sort of is actually one of the first times that I'm doing it without sort of going to my family for support, but using my program and the strategies that I find within my program for that support, and talking through actually that it's quite a hard thing to do to be changing patterns of behaviour that I practiced for a lifetime really, but really, why do I bring that in and connect that to the cinema? Because I'm leaving a hospital, but it makes me reflect that I'm enjoying a really beautiful moment with my family, and even though that my Asperger's is sort of like glitching a little bit, not understanding all of it, but what I do understand and what I do see and I do identify with really strongly is seeing my mum and my little sister connect beautifully and smile and laugh while they're watching, and it's an amazing thing to see, and to think actually there was a time that I didn't want to be alive even after my transplant. That was the point at which I'd become very poorly, and a lot of the confusion had manipulated the gift in my head to being something very different than it was, and when I sit and I see them laughing to the movie, and my mum makes me laugh because she calls across to come and check on me and George in the cinema, and I'm just like, wow, my mum's just absolutely beautiful. Do you know what I mean? It's just love. It's love, and it's been young, and it's been friendly, and it's been playful, and it's just like, wow, a woman that's been through so much, enjoying a movie, and is coming to check on her two boys, her son and her grandson, and that's a miracle. That's a miracle to be alive. It's a miracle to be able actually to feel that and connect with that emotion and feel the love from it. And that's quite a challenging thing really for an autistic person, because I don't actually intuitively know that feeling of my own, but what I do feel is the energy of that feeling from the spiritual connection I have, and that balances that intuitive or instinctual or physical response that I believe that neurotypicals and other Aspies might feel. But it was one of those days that it wasn't just that made it. It wasn't just those two things that I saw in the movie that was powerful. I was just sending a bit of Reiki healing to my nephew, because he's been having a bit of conjunctivitis or something going on with his left side, and I'm just sort of my hand out, and there are certain things you see in movies that I would watch like the father lifting up the boy after he's running out from the school. And I went to pick my nephew up and he came running to the car, and I physically can't get out of the car, but I opened the door and he gave me this massive hug. And these things are coming alive and starting to be a part of my life that I had never thought or believed or could have even imagined or seen would have happened. These are the gifts of my recovery. These are the gifts of my life, and being connected and being looked after by other. And as I'm in the cinema and my hand and I'm sending the Reiki, my nephew just puts his hand in my hand. And I look down and his little hand in my hand. I'm just like, oh, do you know what I mean? Just absolutely powerful stuff. And, I've been through such a journey on with, connecting intimacy, children, and whether I could have children, whether I wanted to have children, whether I'd be able to have children. Lots of different stages, lots and lots of fears, lots of things that my head created to block me from getting to that feeling of love and oneness with another human being. And it's quite a challenging thing to have a head that works quite strongly 99% of the time, always trying to push me from being in a place to feel, to connect, to love, to be free really of what can be very selfish internal or external behaviour, and it takes a lot of meditation, lots of breathing exercises, lots of step work to break down what my head's saying. Oh, that's rubbish, that's not real. But to have my nephew's hand in my hand in the cinema, it brings back those memories. Not really. It brings up those memories of always wanting to have a girlfriend and go to the cinema and hold hands, and kiss on the back seat of the car, and all of those things you saw from the 80s movies. And that experience brought that back, but it was more powerful than anything that I'd imagined. And my head always going to take his hand away any minute. His hand will get too wet, too warm and wet from holding in my hand, sweaty hands. But he didn't. That was just amazing. And I'm like, this is really amazing. My mum and my sister over there, and my nephew's holding my hand. And this is what life is. This is a guy that really doesn't get how it all works a lot of the time. That's having to sit down and have structured, one-on-one difficult conversations with his PA today, to them being in the cinema. Has problems being able to be around his cat all the time because it could be intense and too full on. But here I am holding my nephew's hand, and I'm like, I don't want to let go. I'm like, I'm really thirsty from eating my salted popcorn, but I don't want to let go of my nephew's hand. I don't want him to think that I don't want to hold his hand. It's just beautiful. And it's gems like these that now I'm slowly curating a folder of memories, of snapshots, that I'm able to use that aspiness of my mind to remember in perfect clarity. There's one of talking with my grandmother, who I'm really close to, on FaceTime to my nephew again. I've learnt a lot from that relationship, and it's been an absolute blessing. Excuse me. An absolute blessing to be a part of, and to grow up learning as he's learned, watching his face move and talk and process things, and actually be like, well, he's doing what I do. And seeing that reflection of behaviour and being able to identify what my own process. He's 31 and I'm learning this. It's been a really strange and challenging stuff has been coming up, and but as I do these things and as I journey, it's like I had a massive, for me, quite a strong, massive sort of social overwhelm, anxiety, paranoia in a development class and sort of coffee thing, and I came back having knowing or believing that I could do it, but I've got to the point of so worked out that I've blocked myself off and I'm not able to feel because I'm so stuck on what's going on or what just happened that I wasn't able to do what I was hoping I'd be able to do. And I come back to the flat, and I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm full of this sort of energy that I'm not really used to, because I haven't been used to having that kind of emotion, because I'd found alternative ways to wash that emotion out of me, or to socialise or talk or dance that stuff out of me when going on nights out or whatever. And so I'm hitting the pillow and I'm like, what is this all about? Why are we doing this? What is this for? And I come back to sort of not knowing that I'm doing this, but I come back to trying to connect to what's the answer, what's the reason, what's behind all of this, because knowing that in the core of me, behind me, at the strength of me, that there is an essence of that this is doable, manageable, and done, David. That actually that all of what's going on is just the front face of stuff that you've just got, fudge, smoke, or rubbish. That actually, if you whack that all out to the side and you come fully present right into that moment, you are going to be exactly who you are and what you are. But I don't get that at the time, so I come back to my cards and I'm asking them the same sort of thing, and I get this very clear message back of, to have the confidence to not do certain things, have the confidence to do what you are doing. You are on your path. But I ask why. And they tell me it's because I'm a miracle. Now that is the hardest thing for me to accept and embrace, but it's a fundamental part of me. And the energy and the power of that conversation and the ball of light, or what it is that works through me and around me, was overwhelming. And not overwhelming, it was beautiful. Beautiful, painful, beautiful, frightening, but not beautiful, but not painful, not frightening. It was wonderment. There isn't a word. To be in the ball of such a strong emotion that I've been frightened of, that I drank over, that I run away from, that I don't want to look at, that I want to embrace while going, no, don't do near the light, you know what I mean? Whilst it being integrally in me. There's a thing from Joe and Charlie, two speakers that I've listened to, and they tell this story about, they're talking about the creation and what about, I can't remember exactly, but hiding. What is God? Hiding it. Where shall we hide it? The essence of God. And the story goes, I know what we can do. We can hide it on the highest mountain. And they're talking about it, and they go, no, we can't do that because they will climb the highest mountain. And of course we have, haven't we? We climbed Everest. And then the guy says, pardon me, I know what we'll do. We'll want to hide it into the deepest ocean, but we're already going deeper and deeper into the sea. We have submarines. Admittedly, we know more about the moon than we do the sea, but that's a whole different kettle of fish. And they say, I know what we'll do. We'll hide a bit of it in each and every human, because that's the last place that they will look. And I think that that's very true and very, very strong. Because it is in each and every single one of us, that God aspect, that beauty, that quiet voice, that gentle murmur, rhythm, flow. Like when the Time Lords, when you hear the rhythm of the Time Lords, when you hear the rhythm of space, the sound of space, whatever it is, it's in each and every one of us. The all-spark of the Transformers, I love that. Of course it is. It's right there, the soul, the personality, the essence of you, whatever you want to call it, dude. Come on. It's that thing that is I don't have, I don't have your thing. You don't have my thing. But your thing is so as important as my thing. Because I know either one of us is greater or less than. But it's the hardest thing to accept and hold on to. It's the hardest thing that I find to accept. But it's strange, isn't it? Because it's within 1 week, 2 weeks, there's been so much that comes up and travels through that's shifting and shaping and crafting what I am, as it will be for everyone else in the world. And slowly it's like parts of me are being polished up, of the sculpture of who I am and who I'm becoming. And I get frightened. And it can be lonely. But I can often get very caught up in my my own drama of my own head, or the drama that I curate from what I hear my head creates. But it's like I balance. I know I balance. And I remembered this, and this is another thing that came to me this week, is that my autism balances the creativity and geniusness of my essence. It is balance. But finding that knowledge and holding on to it and allowing myself to flow from the extremes of my character, whilst not berating myself or congratulating myself, is the hard bit, really. Sometimes it's easy because I don't think about it, and then other times it's not. It's being stuck in a room, not being able to talk, not wanting to be there, and being absolutely crushed when you leave. To then being in the cinema with your family, eating sweets, having Diet Coke, popcorn, and holding your nephew's hand. I mean, what a life, what a way of living. It's always, isn't it, the small things that make the great beauty of what life is. A very wise woman said to me, how do you know when you've found God? How do you know that you've had a spiritual awakening? And she told me this story that I very flippantly, because I can be quite pessimistic about all of this stuff, and sort of my Jekyll and Hyde thing. Mine is very much the Jekyll. And she said, she's talking about this guy walking along, and the birds are singing like they're singing tonight, and the sun was shining, the path was nice, the grass was growing between the paving stones, the leaves were rustling on the grass, and then he said he saw this butterfly fly, and then he saw the sun shine through spider's web, I think it was. And it was at that point, seeing the moisture and the light hitting the spider's web, that he knew that God was alive, or that there was something greater than who he was. And I was like, well, of course we know that the trees and the bees and the birds and the sun, it's all there, isn't it? It's what we get on with, it's, part of life. But it's not until actually that I sit down and I have experiences like this, and I sit to talk to somebody else, talk to you guys, that I go, I know that there is a presence of something, nature, the gods, the stars, gravity. I know that there is things that work in the world that I will never fully understand, nor should I or need to, but can feel and be a part of, but can glimpse at the small bits and go, wow, how does the sun hit the moisture in the spider's web and see beauty and connect to it and be like, yeah, dude, that's pretty cool, It's like sitting with a group of friends around a fire pit and looking into the fire and being like, when you sit there and you just rock back in yourself a little bit and you go, yeah, you know what I mean? We're not all drunk. We're not all out partying. It's not been some big blowout or lots of money spent. We're not all needing to get dressed up. Just all sitting around in a circle around a fire. And the fire just does what the fire does, and you look at it and everyone's calm. Beautiful bits in life. And we've all got them. So I don't know, I just wanted to reach out, I suppose, and share a bit of what's going on, and share the journey. Allow others to walk with me, and for them to walk, and know that there is somebody else thinking about them tonight. And it's people say this, that we are never ever truly alone, and it's so true. We are really never ever truly alone, and there will always be somebody in the world somewhere that will be praying for you, or thinking of you, or around you, in mind, body, or spirit. And it doesn't need to be great angels or Thor and his hammer or fairies and pixies. It could just be the gravity of the earth that's holding you on to the planet, the moon in the sky that controls the sea. There is something always around us and always with us. Or it could be my awesome cat on my lap right now tonight. So I suppose that's just a little pop in and say hi, really. And thanks guys. Thank you for being with me and allowing me to be a part of your journey, and for taking the time for watching this video. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll keep you in my prayers tonight. And take care. I'll see you on that great big broad road highway thing of life, and maybe we'll cross again. So take care. God bless. Good night.